Did you know that when the colonisation of the area now known as Victoria began, the British considered it to be illegal, and they were also concerned by the violence against Aboriginal people? When people think about the colonisation of Australia, they might think about it starting in 1788, when the first fleet arrived at Sydney Cove. But aside from the visits of whalers and a failed attempt to establish a penal colony at Sorrento, it wasn't until 1834 that the Henty brothers landed on Gunditjmara country in southwest Victoria, establishing a permanent settlement at what is now known as Portland. That's only 190 years ago.
They illegally took our land, our homes and our lives.
Historians told the Yoorrook Justice Commission, Victoria's truth-telling inquiry, that the British government of the time was worried that something had gone terribly wrong when settlers began to spread rapidly across Victoria.
It was illegal to do so because the government in New South Wales had tried to limit settlement and there were boundaries beyond which you could not go.
By the 1830s, in their private correspondence inside the colonial office, they were saying that this is terrible and it is likely that the Aborigines will become exterminated.
While the Henty brothers are celebrated in some history books and in several monuments, one of their descendants told the truth-telling inquiry her family was involved in killings of Gunditjmara people.
Growing up, I did not understand the crimes my family committed.
The first recorded massacre of Aboriginal people in Victoria happened here, near Portland.
And this time, the whalers went away and they got their guns and they shot them.
At this site, known as the Convincing Ground, a large number of Aboriginal people were killed. As the settlers spread throughout Victoria with remarkable speed, so did the violence.
It was probably the swiftest expansion within the British Empire of any occupation of land.
There's nothing like this in the history of European colonisation, and there's no doubt that this was probably one of the most tragic periods for First Nations people, both because of the speed of the occupation and undoubtedly the amount of violence.
More than 1,000 Aboriginal people were killed in 49 recorded massacres in Victoria, most of them committed by squatters, though 16% involved agents of the state, like police. One massacre of 8 colonists was recorded in Victoria.
Some of the things I've encountered in this research are the worst things I've ever heard of anyone ever doing to anyone in human history.
The massacre records are the tip of the iceberg. It is unlikely that most of the killing was recorded.
Even at the time, the colonial government expressed concerns about this violence. A committee report to the British Parliament in 1837 noted very little care has since been taken to protect the Aboriginal people from the violence or contamination of the dregs of our countrymen. The effects have consequently been dreadful beyond example.
And I have a tape here to demonstrate how long our people been in this country called Victoria.
In his evidence to the Commission, Gunditjmara elder Jim Berg demonstrated how the colonial past of this state represents a mere fraction of its Aboriginal history.
Each foot of this tape represents 1,000 years. And we move along here, we have 2 feet, Christianity. This is our long... We have been living in this country now called Victoria, Australia.
Born in 1938, the 86-year-old elder has been alive for nearly half the time that Europeans have remained in Victoria.
Without the truth being told of what happened here in this place now called Victoria, there can be no reconciliation. Only a divided state as it is today. Tell the truth.